Okay, good morning. Yesterday we began the Shevuous. Just to reiterate, it's the first 20 blot, basically, the first 18 blot will have very, very little to do with Shevuous. The segue was the Parsha of Oila V'Yored. Because in the Parsha of Oila V'Yored, the carbon chatas that you bring based upon your financial position, two of the Averos are what is Shuas Bitoy, which is the topic of our Masechta, and Tumas Mikdash Ukadasha, which is not the topic of our Masechta, but becomes the topic of our Masechta. So by and large, they're going to be discussing the halachas of Yediyas Tumah, knowing whether you're tummy and which carbon you bought. We saw yesterday the Mishnah, which we'll elaborate upon as the Gemara goes on, and we saw the many different shitas. In addition, we brought in besides Shevuous and Yediyas HaTumah, we brought in Yitzias HaShabbos, and we brought in Maris and the Goyim. What do these all have in common? They were two that became four. They were two that became four. By Shvuah, it was Lahora Lahetiv, which meant futuristically to eat or to not eat or to eat. Became the four was I ate or you did not eat. Right? By Yediyas HaTumah, it's that you walked in, you knew you didn't know you were Tane, and you ate kachim or you walked to the Beis HaMikdash. The Arba is you knew you were Tameh, but you didn't know you were in the Beis HaMikdash, or you didn't know that food was kosher. By Shabbos, we spoke out the Ikar Shabbos is taking it from Rishus HaYochid out into the Rishus HaRabim. The Ikar taking out from Rishus HaYochid into the Rishus HaRabim, which can be accomplished by either the person standing outside taking it out, or the person inside passing it out. Shein Arba is taking it from the Rishus HaRabim into the Rishus HaYochid, where the person standing puts it in, or the person that's in takes it out. And then we mentioned that the Maris Negoyim, which were two, is Seis and Baheres, and Sapachas is the total of each one, and each one that's a total of four. So technically, the Gemara is going to go through a few technicalities today. We're going to start from Beis on the base at the bottom, 2 lines from the bottom. Michti, Tanami Makis Solik. The Tana, he went ahead and he left off Masechta Makis. The last Masechta we know is Masechta Makis. Maishno the Tani Shevuous. What's the reason we learn Shevuous after Makis? Now, Bemes, it's really interesting to note that there's certain Masechtas that don't kind of have a place. You think about it, that where are you going to put Shevuous? Where are you going to put Nidarim, for example? I heard this from Shuli Bonstein. Where are you going to put this Nidarim? Nidarim we place in Masechta, in Masechta, we place Nidarim in the Seder Nashim, because in the 5th perek of Ksubis it says Hamadir. So not knowing where to put it, we have Hamadir being discussed in Ksubis, which is in Seder Nashim, we place Nidarim there. Shevuous, where are we going to place Shevuous? Exactly where we're going to place Shevuous. It doesn't fit in any it's not Tumah, it's not Nezikin, right? It's not Moed, it's not Zroyim, it's not Kachim. Where are we going to place it? So since Makis is in the Seder Nezikin, why is Makis in Seder Nezikin Sanhedrin? It makes a lot of sense. Memela, it'll make sense why we place Shevuous here. And you'll remember this because we just learned it. Michti, Tanami Makis Solik. Maishna the Tani Shevuous, Mishum the Tani, Chayiv ala Roish, Shtayim, Achas Mikan, Achas Mikan. We said if a person cuts off his payas, he's going to, for Kafis Roish, he's going to be Chayiv twice. One for this, Amid Aleph. Vala Zakein, if you shave your beard with a razor, Shtayim Mikan, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and over here. Be Chayiv 5. The Mechayiv of Tarti, Tana Shevuous, you will learn Shevuous, Shtayim, Shein Arba. So what's the commonality? Just like those Mesechtes. Now, they weren't the last Mishnah, but towards the end of the Mishnah, we had what? We had one action that could bring what? One that was 2 and one that was 5. So over here, we have 2 that's 4 and 2 that's 4. So again, it's a bit of a stretch, but again, not having a place to put it, that was enough of a reason to go ahead and place it over there. So this is a technical reason why the placement of Shevuous is in Seder Nezikin, after all, it has nothing to do with Seder Nezikin. And indeed, if you look in the Rambam, guys, the Rambam has a special section called Hafla'a. Ish kiyafli linda ned and nazala has Lashem. Lashon kiyafli is of expression. One of his seders is Hafla'a. What do you find in Hafla'a? Nedarim, Shevuous, Naziris, erchin, different things that you go ahead and say that you, through your mouth, that you go ahead and create certain halachas. But we don't have that in the Seder of the Gemara. But that takes care of that. The reason why Shevuous is learned is because of Makas. Ma'ishna hacha the Tani Lakula. Over here you said Shnaim Shein Arba by Shevuous, and then you brought in everything else. You brought in Shabbos, you brought in Tumah, you brought in Tzeras. U'ma'ishna gabi Yitzia Shabbos u'maras Nagoyim like Tani Lakula. The first Mishnah in Masechta Shabbos is Yitzias Shabbos Shnaim Shein Arba. We don't mention anything about Nagoyim. We don't mention anything about Shevuous. We don't mention anything about Tumah V'Tayra zero. Why not? The first Mishnah in Masechta Nagoyim says that's a Shnaim Shein Arba. Does not mention Shabbos. Doesn't mention Shevuous. Doesn't mention Tumah V'Tayra. So l'chayro, what's the difference over here by Shevuous that we bring everything in over here, right? And the difference by Shabbos and Nagoyim where we don't. We just leave it independently as itself. Amri Shevuous v'yedias atuma degabe adodi ksiva v'damya hadodi b'karban oil v'yoyred tanahu gabe adodi. Okay. In other words, this was the segue that we brought in yesterday, right? This we brought in the pasuk yesterday. I wonder if I still have it on the board here. Yes, I do indeed. Right. So, see the pasuk. We have the pasuk here. Yeah, it's the pasuk. Good. So, what does it say in the pasuk? It says you have over here. He walks into the Beis Hamikdash Tamei, and then the next section is so Memela, you're going to bring Shevuous Shnayim Shem Arbin Pasik Dalid. We're already going to bring in Tumas Mikdash Kedusha V'Diyas Atuma from Pasuk Gimel. They're ready together, and they're together because you bring a carbon oil of yorid. At the end of here, you're going to bring again, based upon your financial position, you're going to bring either a chatas or birds or silas. So therefore, says the Gemara, Tani luhu gabi hadadi. Since they're similar carbon oil of yorid and they learn together, we're going to learn Yediyas Atuma and Shevuous. I do Tani Tarti Tana Kula. So in other words, we schlep in. By Shabbos, it's unique, separate. By Nagoyim, it's unique, separate. Over here, by Shevuous, because of the Torah itself, I'm going to bring in Yediyas Atuma, Tumas Mikdash Kedushav. Once I'm ready bringing two, I'll bring in all four. I'll throw in Shabbos and Nagoyim. Mashenkin, Shabbos and Nagoyim, which are separate. So that's the technical reason why we bring in four in our Masechta rather than just two, or rather just one. Now, next question. You begin the Shevuous Shnayim Shein Arba, Yediyas Tumah Shnayim Shein Arba. Being the Rabbi, being the great Masader, and Rav Ashi and Ravina, logically in placement, we should have explained first Shevuous Shnayim Shein Arba. We should explain the halachas of Shevuous. We don't. We explain first the halachas about of Yediyas Hatumah. That's why I told you, until Daf Yutes, Daf Kof, you're not going to get to Shevuous. So why not? If Masechta is called Shevuous, and the first thing you bring in is Shevuous, you should explain Shevuous first. That's what the Gemara's question is. Right? So it says the Gemara, Tana Kula Pesach, no, Tana Kula Pesach B'Shvuous, Umefarish, I did Tana Kula, stop. Now, Pesach B'Shvuous, Umefarish Yediyas Atuma. You begin saying Shevuous Shnayim Shein Arba, and then you begin to explain the next statement, the next clause, Yediyas Atuma. What's the reason? And for the Gemara, I did the Zutrin Milayhu, vis-a-vis Shevuous, the amount of information regarding Yediyas Atuma is Zuter, it's less. Pasuk, we bring it in, and Shari Lahu. Rashi says we matter it, we get it off our backs. In other words, we take care of that. And then we'll go into Shevuous, which has much more to discuss. In other words, there's different ways a person, depending on the individual, if you have, let's say, two things you can do, an easier thing or a harder thing. Some people would rather do the harder thing first and then leave over the easy one, or some would rather do the easy one and leave out and get the harder one. So similar, over here we have less to discuss regarding Yediyas Atuma. We'll do that first, and then the more involved we'll get in Shevuous. That's afterwards. So again, the Mishnah is being very technical. Gemara is being very technical, explaining why over here do we mention all four. And we're saying because he mentioned two together, because they're in the parsha together, that of Shevuous and Yediyas Atuma. Why do we go ahead and mention Shevuous first and then explain Yediyas first? Why are we explaining Yediyas first? Because Yediyas has less amount of information to discuss than Shevuous, so we'd rather go discuss the Milsa de Zutrasa, the smaller one, and then wait till we get to the Shevuous, which is Nefishi Milayu Nafish, meaning more. Shevuous Shtaim Shein Arba. Okay, what are they? She'oichel, a shvu that I will eat, u'shloi oichel, and a shvu that I won't eat. Guys, that's the lahara oilahetiv. This is the parsha. This is the parsha of lahara oilahetiv. Kisishba levater said lahara. What's to do bad? Not to eat. This is of Rabbi Zach Tinsky's alley. Lahara, it's bad not to eat, right? Therefore, you make a shvua that I won't eat. Oilahetiv, or you make a shvua to eat. That's all it mentions over here. And these are the lashon of what? This is the lashon of future. This is the lashon of future. So the future is lahara or lahativ, not to eat or to eat. But you're speaking about the future. That's shtayim. Where do you have arba? Where do you have arba? You know already. Achalti shloi achalti. Past tense. I make a sure that I ate and you didn't, or make a sure that I didn't eat and you did. That's a shvur sha'avar. It's not speaking about the future. It's the past. So that's the four. Will be marba. Not only the future will be marba, the past as well. Yediyas atuma shnayim shein arba is what? Shnayim is yediyas tuma kodesh v'yediyas tumas mikdash, meaning I know that I forget that I was tamei. I knew once upon a time I was. I forgot. I went in the Beis Hamikdash. I ate kachim, and then I remembered. That's going to be in the oil of Yored. So that's where you forgot you were tamei. What's shehin arba is I knew I was tamei, and I didn't forget I was tamei. But kodesh, I didn't know that what I'm eating is kachim. I thought it was a chulin or migdash. I thought I was standing one place and I was in the Beis Hamikdash proper. So that's the shehin arba. The shtayim is you don't know your tamei and you eat the kachim. Well, you don't know your tamei in your Beis Hamikdash. That's the first two. The latter two is you know your tamei, but you don't know it's tumah, you don't know it's Beis Hamikdash. So that's the shtayim shein arba. Yitzia Shabbos, shtayim shein arba. Yitzia Shabbos is shtayim shein arba is two, that's four. Shtayim is what? Is heitzos the ani, but heitzos the balabayas. Okay, the Mishnah in Shabbos describes is really lav dafka, a person's monetary situation over here. It's speaking derech havaya. Who is apt to be outside the house is the ani, because he's making a request, knocking on the door to ask with tzedakah. Who's going to be in the house? The balabayas. He's the owner of the house. So the ikka is going from the Rishus HaYachid to the Rishus HaRabim. Guys, you're going from the house into the Rishus HaRabim. That can be performed in one of two ways. Either the ani taking it out, or the balabayas passing it out. In both cases, it's called haitzah. It's going out. It's going out from the Rishus HaYachid to the Rishus HaRabim. What is the arba? Is the act of hachnasa. Is bringing it in from the Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid. I can accomplish that by the ani putting it in, or the balabayas bringing it in. That's the shein arba. Yediyah Shabbos Shnayim Shein Arba. Shnayim is Haitzah, the ani bringing it out into the Rishus HaRabim. Haitzah the balabayas passing it out into the Rishus HaRabim. Shein Arba, Hachnasa the ani bringing it into the Rishus HaYachid. The Hachnasa the balabayas, and the balabayas bringing it into Rishus HaYachid. Okay, so we have so far of the four things mentioned, we went ahead and dealt with three. Let's do the fourth one, and then we'll chazer riba. Maris Negoyim, Shnayim Shein Arba. Maris Negoyim, it's two, that's four. What's the Shnayim? Se'es ubeheres. Shein Arba. Se'es will toidasa. Se'es and it's tolda. Again, it means a different hue of white. And beheres will toidasa. Okay, so let's go back to the Mishnah, guys. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Shtua Shayim Shein Arba. It's Shtayim is the future to eat or I won't eat. Shein Arba, I ate or I didn't eat. Yediyas Atuma Shtayim Shein Arba. Right? I don't know I'm Tameh. I go into the Beis Hamikdash. I don't know Tameh. I'm Kachim. Shehein Arba. I know I'm Tameh. I know I'm Tameh, and I don't realize it's Kodesh. I don't realize it's in the Beis Hamikdash. Maris Yitzias Shabbos Shnaim Shein Arba. The ani standing outside, bringing it outside, or the balabais passing it outside. Shehein Arba. The ani bringing it in to the house, and the balabais taking it in the house. Maris Nagoyim Shnaim Shein Arba. The Maris Nagoyim is Seis Ubaheres. Shein Arba is the told of Seis and the told of Beheres. Okay, it's the general of those words. Good. Back in Agamar. Now I'm gonna introduce you. Let me give you a foreshadow. The Tana of our Mishnah, he holds that by Shevuous, past works. Achalti b'lo achalti. The Tana of our Mishnah holds that a yediyah, not knowing that it's kachim, or not knowing it's the Beis Hamikdash, is part of the cheshbon. Rabbi Yishmael guys holds by Shvuah only future. Rabbi Yishmael holds by Shvuah only future. Only lahara or lahetiv. Only I will eat or I won't eat. He does not hold the chalti lo chalti. Can he be the Tana of our Mishnah? No. Rabbi Akiva, he only holds that if you forgot your tameh, but you knew it was the Beis Hamikdash and you knew it was kachim. He does not hold that if you knew you were tameh and didn't realize it's kodesh, or you knew you were tameh and didn't realize the Beis Hamikdash, he doesn't hold it at. So therefore, neither Rabbi Shmuel, because of Shvuah, nor Rabbi Akiva, because of Yediyah of Tumah, can be the Tana of our Mishnah. That's the problem. Fred the Gemara Kasha. Mani Masnisan. Who's the Tana of our Mishnah? Lo Rabbi Yishmael, v'lo Rabbi Akiva. I Rabbi Yishmael, you have a problem with Shvuah. Ha'omar, he says later on the Mishnah in Daf Chavei, Ein chayiv ella ala asid lavai. Shevuous bitu, you only chayiv on the future. I will eat or I won't eat, but not on a chalti v'lo chalti, not on past. I Rabbi Akiva, you have a problem with Yediyah Satumah. Ha'omer al helam tumuhu chayiv. If he forgot he was tamei, but he knew it was kosher, he knew it was kachim, or he knew it was the Beis Hamikdash chayiv. Ve'en chayiv al helam migdash, but you're not chayiv if you knew you were tamei, but you didn't know it was kachim. So either one is problematic. Rabbi Shmuel because of Yediyah, because of Shevuous, and Rabbi Akiva because of kachim. Iba Yisema, I can give you a teretz Rabbi Shmuel. Iba Yisema Rabbi Akiva. Iba Yisema Rabbi Shmuel. Mehen lechiyav, mehen liftar. Iba Yisema Rabbi Akiva. Mehen lechiyav, mehen liftar. Okay, guys, very easy teretz. Shtayim shein arba. There are 4 scenarios. Some you chayav Shevuous bitoy for, and some you're not. In other words, like Rabbi Shmuel, achalti v'achalti is a Shevuous bitoy. I'm just not going to bring a carbon oil of yorid on it. Like Rabbi Akiva, right? Like Rabbi Akiva. If you're in the Beis Hamikdash and you don't know your tameh, you're chayiv. If you knew your tameh, you don't know the Beis Hamikdash, you're pata. But that scenario exists. So shtayim shein arba doesn't mean inyan chiyuv. It means scenarios. So there are 4 scenarios by Shvuah. There's 4 scenarios by Tumah v'Tayra, by Tumas Mikdash Kedashav. Some you're chayiv for, some you're not. Like Rabbi Akiva, you chayiv only for not knowing your tameh. Like Rabbi Yishmael, you only chayiv for future. But there's other scenarios, but you're not chayiv for that. That'll be a very easy teretz. Of course, the Gemara will not stay with that teretz, but right now it's a very easy teretz. Says the Gemara, liftar. How could you think that the Mishnah is giving me a case of liftar? Amid Beis, hadumya dimara negoyim katani. You brought in Shvuah Shtayim Shein Arba. You brought in Yediyah Satumah Shtayim Shein Arba, right? And you brought in Maris Negoyim. Ma Chasam Kulu L'Chiyuva. By Maris Negoyim, it's all L'Chiyuv. By Maris Negoyim, you're going to be Tamei, whether it's the Seis or it's Tolda, or the Beheres or it's Tolda. Afhacha, so to over here, Nami Kulu L'Chiyuva. So therefore, this teretz is not going to hold water. Because obviously it must be 4 scenarios of chiyuv, not 2 liftar, and not 2 what? Not 2 to be mechayiv, and not 2 liftar. Okay, so we have a problem right now. Who's the Tana of our Mishnah? Like Rabbi Akiva, we have a problem from Kachim. Like Rabbi Yishmael, we have a problem of Shvuah. So who's the Tana of the Mishnah? Guys, in the end of the Mishnah, you know what it's going to say? It's according to Rabbi. Rabbi holds like Rabbi Akiva by Shvuah, and he holds like Rabbi Yishmael by Kachim. That's going to be the final. But until we get to that, we have a little more lumdis. Okay, it says, Lo'ilam Rabbi Yishmael. Lo'ilam, I'll tell you, it's speaking of Rabbi Yishmael. V'chi loy mechayev Rabbi Yishmael l'sha'avar, that's on a carbon. So if you swear that you ate and you didn't, if you swore that you didn't eat and you did, right, then you're not going to bring a carbon. However, avol malchus chiyuv mechayev, you're going to be chayev malchus. So our Mishnah, according to this teretz, is speaking not b'mezid, not b'shoigeg b'mezid. The Mishnah makes a carbon olav yored. There's a Tosfos on Daf Gimel at the bottom that deals with that issue. But right now, so we're holding it's l'chiyuv. So therefore, in other words, Rabbi Shmuel didn't let you off the hook. He's mechayev you. He mechayev b'mezid. If you go ahead, when he says that, achalti v'lo achalti, that's linyan carbon. If you do it b'shoigeg, linyan mezid, if you past tense, not only future but past, you would be mechayev one malchus. So therefore, the answer it's the chiyuva, right? It's mechayev. So he can be the Tana of our Mishnah. When our Mishnah says Shtaim Sheinar by Shvua, it means a person b'mezid's over it, you're going to get malchus. Person b'mezid over it, you're going to get malchus. Let's see it inside. Rabbi Shmuel l'sha'ava carbon, avol malchus chivu mechayev kid the Rava. The Amar Rava, beferish ribsu Torah shvua sheker dum yud shvua shav. Openly, the Torah goes ahead and includes shvua sheker similar to shvua shav. Now, shvuas bitu is shvua sheker, and shvua shav is where you swear on something that is known. So, for example, you swear that this piece of stone is a piece of iron or it's a piece of gold. You swear on this man that it's a woman. Right? That's the example it gives. Okay, we won't go there, right? So, but again, this is considered a shvuas. This is considered a shvua shav. So we're going to say shvua sheker, shvuas bitoy is similar to shvua shav. Ma shav l'sha'avar, just like shav is the sha'avar. You're swearing on something that's known, that this stone is not iron, this man's not a woman. You know, that's it. Av sheker nami l'sha'avar. So to sheker also be l'sha'avar. So bishlema and now, okay, so guys, very good. So very good. Right now, we have a teretz, a potential teretz. Who's the Tana of our Mishnah? It's Rabbi Yishmael. Shvuah shtaim shein arba is speaking linyan malchus, because you're going to be chayiv across the board. Sai future, you'll be chayiv malchus for if you do it b'mezid, and sai shoigeg and sai pies, you'll be chayiv malchus if you do it b'mezid. Now we're familiar with the concept of what? Of lav shein b'maisa. We're familiar with the concept of lav shein b'maisa. So let's get a very nice introduction to it from this following Rashi. Says Rashi Uchid Rava. The Gemara we just did is this long Rashi, but I think it's worthwhile saying it. Fourth line down. Uchid Rava. Kloimar. Vim Taimar. Lav shein b'maisahu. Ve'ein loikin a love. How can you get it from Malchus? How can you get Malchus for a Shvuah? It's a lav shein b'maisa. It's a dibur. It's a alzel loikin kid Rava. On this you're going to get Malchus like Rava. The Perikimel Amrinon shaloikin al Shvuah shav. You will get Malchus for a Shvuah. That's what. That's false. I mean, total shvuas of nothingness. V'afina law, where do we learn that from? It says, Mechilo yinaka Hashem. Hashem will not go ahead and find the person guiltless. Hashem hu lo yinaka. Aval bezdin malkan oislay. Bezdin will take care of him. U'menakan oislay, and they'll give him malchus. U'parchinan Allah. Ashken shvuah shav v'nishpa l'shanes esayidua. We find it by shvuah shav, where he swore to change something that's known. Kigon ala ish shehu isha. On a man saying it's a woman. Even shu zahav, when stone saying it's gold. The shava, because it's shua shav. The mashma dava she'ena shel klum. It's a mashma dava of nothingness. Kimoi moishchei ha'ovain bechevlei hashav. They're spending the time on nothingness. Shua sheker minolan. How do you know shua sheker? So shua shav, I know I'm going to get malchus for because the Torah includes it, special lo yinaka. How do you know shua sheker? Which is again, which it's not shav. Shua, because it says shav twice. Minolan. Shvuah shein nika im emes im lav, a shvuah that you don't recognize if it's true or not. Raminin l'shav based plum. It says twice l'shav. Im eina inyan l'shvuah shav, because I happen to know that already. Teneu l'shvuah sheker. So it says it twice. So one I'll use for shvuah shav, shvuah is a man to a woman, and shvuah shav, the one shvuah sheker ayeder dinit. V'amar Rava hasam hach shvuah sheker de kamar binan miribur de l'shav le'ripsa Torah el l'sheker l'shavar. For we're using it for past. I ate or I didn't eat. Kigoin achalti or lo achalti. Shemishosh nishba. From the time he went ahead and verbalized it, yatsa shua mipiv. The shua came out of his mouth. L'sheker. Guys, if you're swearing in the past, obviously it's a done deal. If you're swearing that you ate and you didn't, it's done. If you're swearing that you didn't eat and you did, it's done. In other words, we're going to make the Shevuous Sheker to the Shevuous Shav. Just like the Shevuous Shav, when you verbalized it, it was not true. You said it's a man, it's not. You said it's Zahav, it's not. So too over here, fellas, when you said you ate and you didn't, or you didn't eat and you did, it's right. But future, you don't know yet, right? You don't know what it's going to be. So we have a comparison, fellas. Look at me. We have a comparison and equality between Shevuous Shek and Shevuous Shav. That equality only exists in the realm of Shekel and Sha'avar. Because once you said it, it's done already. There's no, just like Shav, right here and now, you can tell that it's Shav, because it's not a woman and it's not gold. So too over here, you didn't eat or you did eat, but that's only the past. To swear that I will eat or I won't eat, that's future. That's not similar to Shav. Guys, got it? In other words, we're making that comparison, but the comparison has to be in the same playing field. And continues, it's a very important Rashi. So continues Rashi, do me the Shvuah Shav, the Lahachi Afke B'Lashon Shav. That's why you said the Lashon of Shav, Lememra, the B'Lisha'avar Kamairi. It's speaking where it's something that transpired already. Mashav L'Sha'avar, Nishba L'Shanis as a Yedua, Avar as a Shvuah Mishiyatzim Mipiv, so to Sheker. So therefore you're going to get Malchus for Sheker. Okay, very good. So right now we have Pshat in our Mishnah. Our Mishnah is speaking about Linyan Malchus, and therefore Yechayev across the board. Fred the Gemara Kasha. I got 4 scenarios. What are the 4 scenarios? Let's see. Bishlei ma'achalti v'lo yachalti, past tense, I ate or I didn't eat, kidarava. I have Rav a quality to shove, to be mechayev me what? Shvua. Again, we just spoke at the Rashi, right? As soon as it came out of your mouth, it's gone. Therefore, just like shove, where it says Hashem lo yenake, but Bezdin would give Malchus, so too Shvuas Shekel Isha'avar, you'll get Malchus for. Great. Shaloi Oichel, you make a future Shua that you won't eat. V'ochal, and you did eat. Nami, you also will get Malchus. Why? Lav sheyesh b'maisahu. Ela Oichel, that I ate, that I will eat. V'loi Ochal, and I don't eat. Amai. Why are you getting Malchus? Lav shein b'maisahu. Okay, guys, look at me. Let's get this. Guys, look at me. 4 scenarios to get Malchus. 2 future, 2 past. Both paths, I understand why you get Malchus. We're going to learn it out from Shvuas Sheker. Just like Shvuas Sheker, right? Shvuas Shav. This is Shvuas Sheker. Just Shvuas Shav, a man is not a woman and a gold is not a stone, right? So too, I did eat, you didn't. I ate, you didn't. That's gone. I understand why you get Malchus because I have the comparison to Sheker. Now, you're telling me on 2 futuristic things I'm going to get Malchus. What are the futuristic things? 1, a shvur that I won't eat. And you do eat. Did you do a Maisa? Yeah. Get Malchus. How about this one? Shvur that I will eat. And you don't. Shvur that I will eat. And I don't. I didn't do a Maisa. How can you tell me that all 4 scenarios are Chayiv Malchus? I have a scenario where you're not Chayiv Malchus. Of course, we all know what? A lav shein b'maisa ain't like in a love. We don't, because what? Remember, where it says Malchus right next to the Parsha of Chasima, like Sachsham Shabadishar. So just like Sachsham muzzling is an act, so too when you get Malchus is an act. So Fred the Gemara, great question. You have 4 scenarios to get Malchus. One of them I don't understand why you do. If you make a shvur to eat and you don't, it's a lav shein b'maisa. So again, Fred the Gemara Kasha, who's the Tana of Mishnah? Can't be Rabbi Shmuel, can't be Rabbi Akiva. Says the Gemara, could be Rabbi Shmuel Linyan Malchus. We're not speaking Linyan Korban, Linyan Malchus. Okay, if Linyan Malchus, so I have 4 scenarios, Shtaim Shein Arba. I only have 3 of them. The 4th one I don't understand. I don't understand if you make a shua to eat and you don't eat, why you get Malchus. After all, it's a lav shein b'maisa. That's where we're holding right now. Okay, says the Gemara. Why do you get Malchus? Lav shein b'maisahu, And for the Gemara, Kisava Rabbi Yishmael, Lav Shem B'Maisa Loikin Alav. Rabbi Yishmael's of the opinion that Lav Shem B'Maisa you want Loikin Alav. Guys, so if you Lav Shem B'Maisa Loikin Alav, we don't need Rava anymore. Why did we need Rava for? We need Rava for what? We need Rava for a case of to say that a Shevuous Sheker is equal to Shevuous Shav, right? Because Shevuous Shav, you'll be Mechayiv mi Lav She'em B'Maisa, even though it's Lav She'em B'Maisa. Once Rabbi Yishmael is of the opinion Lav She'em B'Maisa Loikin Alav, I don't need Rava anymore. Across the board, I don't need the comparison to Shevuous Shav to create what? The Chiyuv of Malchus. I have it because he holds Lav She'em B'Maisa Loikin Alav. But we're showing him to speak that out. Okay, so guys, we have a terror. I'm speaking a lot. I know, again, technicality, this is one more time. Who's the Mishnah? It can't be Rabbi Akiva. It can't be Rabbi Akiva because of Kachim. It can't be Rabbi Yishmael because of Shvuah, because he has Shvuah Sha'ava is not going to be a carbon. And for the Gemara, we're not speaking about Karbanis. We're speaking about Malchus. For the Gemara, we have a case of Malchus that you're not going to get. You're not going to get Malchus. A Shvuah that I will eat and I didn't. And for the Gemara, Rabbi Yishmael's of the opinion Lav She'em B'Maisa Loikin Alav. Very good. So we can get Malchus. Right. Okay. We met such a man the Amar, guys, just for our own Bekias. Do you recall? Do you get Malchus for Noiser? So we get Malchus for Noiser. So Rav Yehuda was of the opinion the reason you don't get Malchus for Noiser is because it's a Lavanita class A, because you could burn it. Mashma, if you didn't have the Lavanita class A, you would get Malchus. It's a Lav Shem B'Maisa. So Rabbi Yehuda is the man the Amar who holds Lav Shem B'Maisa like in a love. Okay, anyway, says the Gemara Vaita. Now you created a problem. If you're telling me that Rabbi Yishmael is of the our Mishnah is like Rabbi Yishmael and he holds Lav Shem B'Maisa like in a love, Yihachi Kasha Rabbi Yochanan. You can have a Kasha Rabbi Yochanan. Dam Rabbi Yochanan. Halacha kistam Mishnah. The halacha is like a stam Mishnah, like an anonymous Mishnah. Ve'itmar shvuah she'oichel kikar zu hayom, a shvuah that I ate this kikar today, a shvuah that I what? I will eat this kikar today. Va'avar hayom v'lo yachla, and the day passes and you don't eat it. We learned this in Masechta Makis. Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish Nemi Travayu Ein Aloike. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Ein Aloike Mishum da Have Lav Shein B'Maisa. V'chol Lav Shein B'Maisa Ein Like in a love. That's what we need. Reish Lakish Amar Ein Aloike Hasra Safiki. It's Hasra Safik because the time you gave it, the whole day you have to go through the whole day. Maybe you eat it, maybe you won't eat it. Hasra Safik Lo Yishma Hasra. So the question is, why does Rabbi Yochanan? You're telling me that on our Mishnah is saying that our Mishnah is going according to opinion Lav Shein B'Maisa like in a love. Here you have a Mishnah saying that a stam Mishnah Lav Shein B'Maisa ain't like in a love. So why did Rabbi Yochanan change his mind from our Mishnah? Like your teretz in our Mishnah, it's speaking that it's a Lav Shein B'Maisa like in a love. Then he says there's another stam Mishnah. He says Lav Shein B'Maisa ain't like in a love. So you have it now as stira in Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara is going to answer. Rabbi Yochanan found another Mishnah that said "ain like in a love," and he opted to go with the latter Mishnah rather than the previous Mishnah. So he giving his druthers. We have a Mishnah like in, Mishnah "ain like in." Which way does he go? He has a Mishnah "ain like in," and he decides to go in that direction. That's the rest of the Gemara. Says the Gemara right. Rabbi Yochanan, Stama Achrina Ashkach, he found a third Stam Mishnah, and he went with that one. Hi Stama, what third Mishnah did he find that says, guys, that Mishnah has to say, Ein Laikin. That third Mishnah has to say, Ein Laikin. Ilema Hi Stama, the following, that nan, Avala Moise B'Tahar, someone leaves over a carbon that's Tahar, nicer, V'Hashoive B'Tamei, or he breaks a carbon Pesach, the bone of a carbon Pesach, that's Tamei, Ein Aloika Es Arboyim, he won't get Malchus. Bishlem V'Shoive B'Tamei, the reason he doesn't get Malchus over there, Dichsiv V'Etzim Lo Sisbru Boy, right? Because of Lo B'Psul. Aval HaMoise B'Tahar, if a person leaves over a kosher carbon overnight, past the Zman of its Achila, my timer, what's the reason he's not getting Malchus? Lav Mishum the Have Lav Shein B'Maisa, the Chol Lav Shein B'Maisa ain't like in a love. So in other words, I found another stam. I found the case of nicer. It's a lav shem and ma'isa and loikin. So you have a stira. Our Mishnah loikin. Mishnah sure that I will eat and I don't eat ain loikin. Which one do you go with? Since we find by nicer it's a lav shem and ma'isa ain loikin, I'll go with that. For the Gemara, how do you know that Mishnah is going to the opinion that's loikin? That it's a lav shem and ma'isa. Umemai the Rabbi Yaakov he the Amar lav shem and ma'isa ain loikin alav. Dilma Rabbi Yehuda he, as I mentioned before. Mishum de ba kosel litin asay achalois asay. Halav hachi laka. The Tanya, like Sasirim Mimenu Abaika, do not leave over anything in the morning. But Noisim Mimenu Abaika, Beish Destroifu. Ba kosel litin asay. The Torah is coming to give me a mitzvah of burning it. Achalois asay. You have to be over the lois asay, leaving it over. Lo mashein loikin alav. Div Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yaakov oimer loimin Hashem muzeh. And Mishum da Rabbi Hashem b'maisa b'chol Hashem b'maisa in loikin alav. So guys. Eye contact. Our Mishnah loikin. Mishnah Shevuous, ain't loikin. Why do you opt for this one? I'll tell you, I have a Mishnah that deals with nicer. Nicer clearly is a lav shem b'maisa, and you're not getting malchus. Says the Gemara, maybe you're not getting malchus here, not because it's not a lav shem. Maybe lav shem b'maisa loikin a lav. The reason you're getting malchus, not getting malchus over there, is a lav anita klasei. It's a lav that's followed by an assay. The assay can go ahead and correct the lav. I was over in the lav of what? Of leaving over overnight. I should get malchus despite the fact it's lav shem b'maisa. You know why I'm not getting malchus? Because the burning of it goes ahead and, again, the lum this, whether you're over the lav, not over the lav till you do burn it, whatever, bit loy, kima, we had the Gemara in Makis. But the bottom line is, you don't have a definitive statement that the reason why by nicer you don't get malchus is because lav shem b'maisa. Maybe it's because it's lav manitak. So here we are, our Mishnah getting malchus here, Shevuous not getting malchus. It must be that he found another Stam Mishnah to say you don't get malchus. It can't be the Mishnah of nicer. That can be because of lav anitach. The Gemara continues its quest to find a Stam Mishnah that you don't get malchus for a lav shem b'maisa. That's our quest. To find out a lav shem b'maisa you don't get malchus. El hastama. He found the following: Shvua shloi oichel kikar zu. A shvua that I won't eat this kikar. Shvua shloi oichlena. A shvua that I won't eat this kikar. He doubles down, makes a double shvua. If ochla and he eats it, Amid Aleph, ein chayiv el achas. He's only mechayiv once, right? And zu yishvuas bitu shechayav mal zedoinei makis valshkegosen carbon oil. This is the classic shvuas bitu mentioned in Vayikra Hey that you're going to get for it's going to get b'meizid, you're going to get makis, and shega you're going to get carbon oil yared. What does it mean zuhi? Zuhi dechayav mal zedoinei makis. Because this is a case where what? It's a shvua shloi oichel and you ate. Aval oichel v'lo yochal. If he made a shvua that he would eat, v'lo yochal, and he didn't eat, loy lucky. He didn't go ahead and eat. So guys, let's go back to the bottom of the page. Shvua shloi oichel. I make a shvua that I won't eat. A shvua shloi oichel and a double shvua I won't eat. V'ochel and he eats it, Yechayev malchus. Why Yechayev malchus? Because you did a maisa. Zu he the one you get malchus for. What happens if you make a shvua that you will eat and you don't? Then you don't get malchus. Why? Because lav she'ein b'maisa ain't like in a lav. So now, here's the scenario. I'm Mishnah Laikin, Mishnah Shevuous ain't Laikin, second Mishnah Shevuous ain't Laikin. Why did now the Gemara say, why did he opt to go for this stam rather than this stam? Fred the Gemara, Michti, high stamma b'high stamma. You have two stam Mishnayos, one that says Laikin, one that says ain't Laikin. My chazi the ovid ki high stamma. Why did he go in the direction of the lav shem b'maisel ain't Laikin? La ovid ki high stamma. Go in the direction of the one that says you do get malchus. Says the Gemara l'taimech Rebbe Gufa hechi sasim right hacha hachi v'hacha hachi. How did Rebbe go ahead and what? Why would Rebbe mix this up, guys? What's a stam mishnah? We saw it. We didn't see it. Did we learn beit? Yeah, we learned beit. So Rashi and beit that beit. He says that the reason why Rebbe anonymous mishnah he wanted to tell you that's the halacha by going ahead and saying it anonymously. That's the halacha. Okay. Then why would Rebbe confuse us? If you give me two mishnayos that are so himself, so for the kasha, what's your kasha? Why do you go after this time? Why was Rebbe soisim like that? So what happened? Initially, he'll like I'm Mishnah, you would get malchus. Ustasma, and he anonymously stated it. V'hoda savar ain like in a love, and then he said what ain like in a love, like the Mishnah in what he changed his mind. V'stama v'sasma u'mishna loisasim im kaima. Okay, so guys, here's the final teretz. Look at me. Our Mishnah, lav shein b'maisa like in a love. Like Rabbi Yishmael, it's an anonymous Mishnah, but we're saying he's the Tan of the Mishnah, and the reason because like in a love. Second Mishnah, ain't like in a love. Third Mishnah, ain't like in a love. Why is Rabbi mixing this up? He didn't mix this up. He first held like this, and then he found this. Once he found this, he went in this direction. And what's the raya? Because he was sussing in the second place. That's the raya that he went this way. You know why he kept this in place? Because once the Mishnah was there, they didn't change. We said beautiful pshat. It was all Mishnayos Baal Peh, guys. They memorized it a certain way. They couldn't change. If you would change it, this is fascinating. If you would change it, it would mix things up. So Mamela, in order not to mix up the way people memorized it, he kept it as such. But he proved the halacha was not like that by repeating the stam after this one rather than the stam after this one. So it comes out our Mishnah is according to Rabbi Yishmael. Right now the teretz is we have a kasha. Who's the Tan of our Mishnah? We're saying it's Rabbi Yishmael. We're saying it's Linyan Malchus. And when Rabbi Yishmael said you only chayiv on future lahor lahetiv oichel v'oichel and achalti loichalti not chayiv, that's only in korban. But Linyan Malchus you would be chayiv. And that Mishnah, our Mishnah is holding that what? Our Mishnah is holding that lav shem b'maisa like in a love. And that's pshat in our Mishnah. We have a question on that on Stiris and Mishnayos, and we're answering it up. That Rebbe Taka changed his mind, and the reason he changed his mind is because he changed his mind, and he proved it by being slicing it two Mishnayos afterwards, one this way, one this way.